Friday, April 24th, 2020, MONERO 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. This morning, I want to go over why silver is still the best hope for the general public in terms of protecting themselves financially for the coming disaster, monetary disaster. What do I mean by disaster? Well, massive inflation, possibly hyperinflation. Yes, I haven't forgotten gold, but silver is a steal, and I'm going to talk about silver. It's a lot more affordable for smaller investors. It's a lot more affordable, of course, for the general public than gold. So I'm going to look at that, how to shop around for silver, especially here in the UK where I live, but it will also help people all around the world know a little bit more about the coins and how to shop around for silver. Before that, though, I want to go through some of the economic data that are coming out. They came out yesterday. Some have come out this morning already here in the UK. And someone asked me in the last live stream, what would I say about the economy going forward in the next month or two? Where would it go? And the thing that I said is that the numbers, the statistics, were going to be a lot worse than the general economic class or the Keynesians, Wall Street economists expect. And that's why I think as well, things are going to be worse economically. Yes, they're trying to throw a lot of money into the problem. It's not going to work, in my opinion, and that's why you need to have precious metals. And why is that? Well, because people are going to start losing faith and confidence in the paper. It's not going to work anymore. So they're going to go to other assets, real tangible assets like gold and silver, even cryptocurrencies, of course. They're not tangible, but they're limited in the amount that is produced or mined, whatever you want to call it. So let's quickly look at these data. I mean, yesterday there were a lot of data that came out in Europe and in the US as well. In Europe, you had the PMI data. For example, the service PMI for the UK was expected 29, and it dropped to 12.3. As I said, it's going to be a lot worse than the mainstream economists expect, and this was proof of that. So these PMI, they're Purchasing Managers Index. They're surveys of purchasing managers, and the number above 50 means that the economy is expanding, and below 50, it means it's contracting. Usually in a normal recession, maybe that number drops into the low 40s, but 12.3, you can see how bad it is. The manufacturing one for the UK was expected at 42, came out at 32.9. For the Eurozone, for example, the manufacturing was expected at 39.2, came out at 33.6. The services PMI for the Eurozone was expected at 23.8, and it came out at 11.7. So this is going to translate into falling paper asset prices, and by that I mean corporate bonds, the stock market. And this time around, precious metals are going to hold on. They're going to hold on in terms of purchasing power and prices, in my opinion. For the US, we had the same numbers. The service PMI was expected at 31.5, came out at 27. The manufacturing was expected at 38, came out at 36.9, so lower than expected there as well. And we had the jobless claims, was expected at 4.2 million, came out at 4.4. So US numbers as well, not doing well and worse than expected. This morning, we've had retail sales for the UK. It came out at 7 a.m. I'm not sure why, because it usually comes out at 9:30. But with this crisis, they might have changed the time they publish things. But retail sales was expected to drop 4% for the month of March, dropped 5.1%. So there you go. Those are the data. They're continuing to get worse, and I think they're going to get even worse. And as I said, you need to be out of paper, in my opinion. I'm not telling you to do it. This is just what I would be doing myself. It's up to you to do your homework and look at these things. So let's look at silver and why I still think it's a very good place to be, especially if you can't afford to buy, let's say, an ounce of gold or less. I mean, you can buy small bars like 1 gram bars or 10 gram bars, but it's much more affordable, of course, to buy silver. We know that the gold silver ratio is risen quite a bit in the last few months. It got up, as you can see there, to a high of almost 130. Right now we're at 113, even though I think that's more like a paper ratio. In the real world, that's a lot lower, that ratio, because people are paying a lot more for silver. I heard in the US, the price is almost double of what you see on the screen. In the UK as well, you pay the VAT. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. 20% VAT on silver. I don't think you should be concerned about paying VAT. And why do I say that? Well, because I bought silver many years ago, and at the time I was worried about the VAT, and the price was around £3.50 per ounce. The VAT from that time seems irrelevant now, seeing that the price of silver is now like at over £12. Of course, if you're able to get silver without paying VAT, there are some dealers in the continent that sell without the VAT. Go ahead. But it's not something that I actually worry about, paying VAT for silver. But there are other ways to shop around for silver, and that's what I want to talk about today. And again, this is from years of doing research, homework, for looking for the coin dealers, bullion dealers, because here in the UK we also have something called coin dealers or metal dealers. They sell collectibles. They're not everywhere, but I was fortunate enough to live near one for many years, and we have moved, but we're still fairly close to Bromley, where this coin and metal dealer is located. And I highly recommend Peter Morris Coin and Metals. He's been in the business for decades. He's at Bromley North train station, and he's open right now. I recommend you call him on the phone before to check what time he's open at, because he might change. But from what he told me now, he's going to be open from 10 to 1 during the week. He will probably be open on Saturdays as well, maybe a little longer, but give him a call. So I went there the other day. He told me he had some $50 and other things. And yeah, I've been dealing with him for over 10 years, 15 years. My daughter even had a little Saturday job with him many years ago when she was like 12 or 13. So I know him really well, Peter Morris. And yeah, so I went there the other day and he had $50. Yeah, we get a lot of $50 in the UK. And Peter Morris, he travels all around the world to the coin expos, the coin fairs. Of course, right now he's not going anywhere, but he goes to Hong Kong, he goes to Brussels, Frankfurt. He goes everywhere for these coin expos. So he's really, how can I say, a specialist, and he's trustworthy. I have dealt with him, as I said earlier, for over 15 years. So yeah, I was able to get a hold of $50, silver $50, 1964. What's the story with the $50 and the US coinage? Well, any coin in the US from a dime up, from 1964 to earlier was 90% silver. After that, they cut the silver content. You can still buy coins after 1964 with silver, but I prefer doing the 64 and before. So yeah, I went over to Peter Morris. He had $half. I bought a few. I also bought a few numismatic silver coins. I do like numismatics once in a while. It's not something I do regularly, but yeah, I bought some old half crowns, an 1840 half crown with Queen Victoria. I bought a George III shilling. So they were more expensive, but that was more as a collectible thing. But what did I pay for the $half? And he even sold me this one as part of the deal, and this is like in perfect condition, this $half, and I paid the same price as I did for the other ones. So he charged me £6.50 for the $half. So I've done the calculation here for you to see how to work out if you're paying the right price for these kind of deals. So first of all, anyone can get this information. The US Mint specifications for a $half denomination is 50 cents. Of course, you're not going to pay for something that's 50 cents nowadays with one of those. So the metal composition is 90% silver, 10% copper. The total weight, that's the total weight of the coin, 12.5 grams. So I did the calculation here, £6.50 per coin, silver content 12.5 grams times 0.9, the 90%, you get 11.25 grams. So 1 troy ounce equals 31.1035 grams. That's probably the most important number that you need to know when dealing with gold and silver coins, is that 31.1035 grams. Why is that? Well, because that's the way to translate the price of the coin from grams into ounces. And of course, the price of gold and silver are usually quoted in ounces. So it's a really important number. It's a weird number, of course, 31.1035 grams, but I've had that number in my head for many years. So 1 troy ounce would equal 2.7647, 1964 $half. So the price per troy ounce that I paid was just under 18 pounds. So that's the way to work it out. Just to give you an idea, right now, if you go to, let's say, Gold Investments, they're charging for their silver coins there, as you can see, 21.1 pounds plus 20% VAT. And those silver coins are on a pre-order basis. So that means they don't have it. So you're going to have to wait for it. And you go to Atkinson's, for example, and you want to buy 1 ounce of Silver Britannia, it's going to cost you 22.26 per ounce. That's with the VAT, and it's on a pre-order basis. That means they don't have it in stock. So I was quite happy then being able to get a hold of this. It wasn't a pre-order. He had it right there and then, and I paid just under 18 pounds. So hopefully that will help you understand how to shop around. But of course, you need to do your homework. You need to look at these things. You need to, nowadays, there's no excuse, because you can go on Google and search for things, coin and metal dealers near where I live, silver content of 1964 $half, or any other coins, and you use that 31.1035 number that I told you about. That's not hard to find out either. You just go 1 troy ounce into grams, those kind of things. So just wanted to show you before I look at the markets very quickly. I've got a coin here. It's a collector's coin. It's a Maria Theresienstaler. So I think she was an Austrian empress or queen, Austro-Hungarian Empire from the 1780s. So there you go. And I'll open this. The coin is in there, very nicely put in there. And you got the other side of it, the specifications of the coins. But the interesting thing about this is that it's a Maria Theresienstaler. Where's that name come from? Well, it comes from the Joachimsthaler, which means Joachim's Valley, which is where this guy, I think he was in the 1500s, 1600s, he minted his own coins in Bohemia, which was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And Tal is valley in German. So Joachimsthaler, that's what they used to call these coins. And the name Thaler translated into dollar. And the Spanish minted coins that were like the thalers. And why do they do that? Because these coins became really popular. They circulated all around Europe, and eventually it became the Spanish dollar. So just a little bit of history there about the dollar. So let's quickly look at the markets this morning. It's 8:53 a.m. London. Gold, of course, did well yesterday. It came off the highs. Right now we're at 17.27, down about $3.50. Silver, 15.22. It did well early on, and then it came off late in the day. But as I said, this is a great opportunity for those who haven't been able to protect themselves. Maybe in the US, with your $1,200 that you receive from the government, maybe you can take $200 of that $1,200 and buy silver, maybe more. It's up to you, of course. So the stock market, the Dow futures down 82, 23,427. S&P 500 futures down 12. So we're down about 1/3% in the stock market. Sterling is down 0.2% at 123.22. It got down to 123.04 on the back of those weak retail sales numbers. The euros continue to lose ground here. We are at 107.46, down 1/3%. And I saw the euro broke through 1600 yesterday. The price of gold in euros continued to sink, the euro. Pound as well. We got above 1400. That's the first time ever. I think we got up to 1405 earlier on today. Right now we're at 1402. So, and I noticed the premium is around 7% now to get an ounce of gold. So you're having to pay about £1,500. So the window of opportunity to protect yourself is closing for gold and silver. Do I look at gold and silver as a way to get rich quickly? No, it's a way to protect the savings that you have been able to accumulate through your efforts in life, through work, through good investments as well, of course, but through your efforts. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's something that you need to be patient. I've been at this since 2002, and it's been frustrating, but gold and silver are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. It's doing exactly what's on the tin, so to speak. So before I finish, just want to quickly look at the bond markets. Right now, I think we need to keep an eye on the Italian government bond market. And why is that? Well, because it could be a harbinger of trouble in the bond markets, sovereign bond markets. Right now, the 10-year yield in Italy is off the highs from this week. I think we got up to 230, the 10-year yield. Right now it's at 207. It's up 6 basis points on the day. So the higher this yield goes, the more trouble there is in the EU and in the system. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Right now it's still under control. The 10-year yield in the US, that's still very low. We're below 60 basis points. We're just under there. So that's telling me as well that the economy is not doing well. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, BitChute, Steemit, and DTube. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.